Good morning, everybody. Buenos días. Buenos días a todos. Gracias. This is you.
That is me?
The green, yeah.
Oh, I always thought the black was me, because what the black was.
Oh, you're 100% correct. Good morning, everyone. We would like to begin by acknowledging the land. This land acknowledgement calls us to commit to continuing to learn how to be better stewards of the land we inhabit.
We recognize that every member of the Santa Rosa Junior College community has benefited and continues to benefit from the use and occupation of this land since the institution's founding in 1918.
Consistent with our values of community and diversity, we have a responsibility to acknowledge and make visible the college's relationship to Native peoples.
By offering this land acknowledgement, we affirm Indigenous sovereignty and will work to hold Santa Rosa Junior College more accountable to the needs of American Indian and Indigenous peoples.
We acknowledge that we gather at Santa Rosa Junior College on the territorial, traditional land of the Pomo people in Santa Rosa
and the Coast Miwok people in Petaluma, past and present, and honor with gratitude the land itself and the people who have stewarded it throughout the generations. Good morning, college community. My name is Debbie Weatherly, and I have the distinct honor to represent the classified professionals as the Classified Senate President. Some of our highlights for last year have been classified professionals continue to serve on the various committees and councils in order to be the voice of our fellow classified as a part of our shared governance structure. We now have a tri-chair model in College Council with classified Senate presidents serving by position in one of these seats. We are currently working on a shared governance guide draft that will include our classified Senate's own 9+1. We have had opportunity to fill positions on work groups for guided pathways and our district educational plan. We also collaborated with SEIU in committee and hiring positions selections. We have added a DEIAA pillar and are recruiting for a lead in our current elections, which will also include the selection of a new president for our own Senate. We continue to host barbecues, honor our classified with longevity award pins, and celebrate our classified with a Classified Appreciation Week, which is held the third week in April and culminates each year with our Rao Yeraberry Awards Dinner and silent auction. You have had to have been around quite a few years ago to know who that was, but a very special classified who helped to start our classified senates. We also have a silent auction that's always an exciting moment. This year is extra special as we are celebrating 30 years of existence as a classified senate and will honor our past classified senate presidents. We have orchestrated Giving Tree for our students' children by handing out gift cards during the holidays that are provided through generous donations from you, our college community. We collaborated with SEIU to offer an all-day retreat at our own Schoen Farm, with the theme being mental health and caring campus for our classified professionals. We had over 100 participants. This proved to be a much-needed time of reconnecting and refreshment that was led by our speaker, Veronica Kiefer-Lewis. We are continuing to encourage our district with the caring campus behaviors that have been tested and proven to increase retention. And some of these actions include the 10-foot rule, wayfinding, updated directories, warm handoffs, name tags, and meeting our students by setting up welcome tables in strategic locations where entry onto our campuses is happening. Instead of the middle of the campus, we meet them where they are. Look for the email with the order form to obtain your own free name tag to proudly display. These are for every employee of the college, whether you're faculty, manager, STNC, student worker, or a classified professional. We have a tour available this afternoon at 2:40 and our meeting in front of Burbank Auditorium. We especially encourage those that are new to our campus, whether faculty or staff, to attend. There have been many changes to our campus, and part of caring campus is wayfinding. We need to know what departments have moved and what happens in all those buildings, whether it is teaching or directing students. I am excited to say that we have Steve Morris helping us with his historical background as we stroll through the pathways of the college. This will not be a fast-paced walk, but rather a stroll to take time to converse with one another and hear about all the exciting changes to our campus. In conclusion, I am very excited about what lies ahead for our college community. I am extremely hopeful, as I know that those that are in position to make a difference are courageous enough to follow through, and we will continue to see a better college and a better tomorrow for everyone. Thank you.
Good morning, colleagues. I'm Nancy Persons, President of your Academic Senate. I'm pleased to be here in community with all of you and excited to hear the Tauzer lecture given by Dr. Araceli Osorio, one of my own former instructors. In the fall, I spoke to you all about the challenges and opportunities the new academic year would bring. At this time, I'd like to focus on the progress we're making in so many areas of our professional lives. In fall 2022, we were tasked with the responsibility to improve our assessment and reporting of student learning outcomes and to disaggregate data to identify achievement gaps. In fall 2023, thanks to the hard work of our SLO coordinators and liaisons, we were introduced to a system for reporting and analyzing these outcomes. For all of us working with students, I know our greatest hope and highest priority is to provide and support learning opportunities. For most of us, constant analysis of how we are teaching and reaching our students is the norm. It is our first highest priority. With an ever-changing and evolving student population, analyzing our approach to how we teach is an integral part of our work as instructors. This validates our students in important ways. It sends the message that they belong. It keeps them motivated and inevitably helps close achievement gaps. In the educational ecosystem of our students, there is no room for closed-mindedness, hostility, repression, or privilege. We are in the final stage of full implementation of our student learning outcomes assessment and reporting software. Colleagues are working hard behind the scenes to make it possible for us to get where we need to be. I want to extend my appreciation to our SLO coordinators, liaisons, distance education, IT, and the Office of Institutional Effectiveness for their hard work and dedication that make it possible for faculty to focus on this highest of priorities, reaching every student, and having the tools we need at hand to make it possible for us to figure out where we need to do better. The Academic Senate recommended an increase in the number of course assessments by bringing the length of the assessment cycle down from 6 to 4 years. Faculty dedication to increasing the number of completed assessments mean we'll have more data at hand, which is essential to producing more informative assessment. I want to acknowledge and thank all the faculty who have made it their top priority to perform SLO assessments. You are the leaders whose example we want to follow. Data on SLOs is being collected, and soon we will be able to use Tableau for data presentation and visualization. This implementation should be completed in time to be used to meet our primary goal, ensuring as instructors that our students are having successful experiences learning in our classrooms. What could bring more joy than that? We know we need the support of our classified and administrative colleagues to do this work, and we will continue working with them to ensure that we have the tools and support in place to do so. This includes establishing regular processes for outcomes assessment that are integrated into our overall program and institutional learning outcomes. In addition to approving SLO assessment practices, the Academic Senate continues addressing additional factors impacting the success of our students. We have work groups creating draft proposals for peer online course review and new waitlist practices. Peer online course review is a process recognized for making online course shells more student-friendly and accessible, and which provides faculty with valuable professional development opportunities in sound andragogical practices. In examining current waitlist practices, we know that waitlists and class size are two wholly separate issues, and by taking a fresh look at waitlist practices, we have the potential to create ones that are student-centered. In terms of seeing through the student lens, the Senate is also currently considering a resolution calling for support of our trans students. I am so pleased to celebrate the hiring of our Queer Resource Center coordinator, Jennifer Espinosa. This is an action whose time has long since come. Finally, the Senate continues to discuss an approach to generative AI with our administrative colleagues, and an additional resolution calls for a process for district funding of annual faculty professional development of discipline expertise. In closing, I want to acknowledge that it feels to me as though we are gradually moving all the important pieces of student success into place: commitment to and support for assessment of learning outcomes, strategic identification of culturally responsive andragogy as a professional development objective to help us learn how to reach more of our students better, targeted attention to faculty training and online course review, waitlist practices that make sense to students, implementation of strategies to harness the use of generative AI and ensure academic integrity, and attention to the need for equitable support for faculty discipline-specific professional development. Thank you for your time and attention. Now it is my distinct pleasure to welcome our Superintendent President, Dr. Angelica Garcia.
Good morning. Buenos dias. I was just hugging them and saying, I don't need to say anything. They said a lot of things. I am so grateful to be here with you all and want to begin by just acknowledging and thanking our colleagues who have been working behind the scenes to make this day possible for us. So if we could please give a round of applause, and if you had any part to do, if you are presenting a session, if you helped set up the stage for today, if you were working, sending me emails, reminding me to do my part, can you please stand or by some way indicate that you are a part of this, please? So presenting, send emails, thank you. Look at that. Let's look around the room. Thank you so very much. I want to start with acknowledging that because it's not as if we don't have busy day jobs. It's not as if we're not completely focused on what it means to be an educator at Santa Rosa Junior College. So I really am grateful and thankful for those of you that are a part of today's program, that are sharing your learning, your expertise, and providing an opportunity for colleagues to engage and learn a little bit more. I also want to thank and welcome Trustee Maggie Fishman, who is joining us today. As you all know, the Board of Trustees. Thank you. It's incredibly helpful to have members of our governing body see what it looks like for us to try to do the operations of the college. So I'm grateful to Trustee Fishman. Having been a former educator, I'm sure she's also very excited at some of the sessions that are available today. I am very excited for this Tauzer lecture. This is the first district that I've worked at where one of the fall or spring sessions highlights excellence in teaching and research. And I feel I'm excited. I had a wonderful time. Dr. Araceli Osorio and I connected last fall, and in true teacher mode, she said, well, let me just tell you a little bit about how this works and what the Tauzer lecture is and what I did. So where's Dr. Araceli Osorio? Right there, so she's ready. I'm ready. 21 países donde hablan español. I'm ready to learn about your research, so thank you so much. I feel like there's so much that I want to say, but where I want to maybe focus our attention a little bit is on what it means to be an educator during these times with the students that are choosing to come and join us each day, each term, with the colleagues that are choosing to join the ranks of faculty and classified professionals and administrators, and what it means to serve our county. I have been spending a lot of time, and later today I have a PDA session, but I want to make a disclaimer. I do not want you to feel that if you do not come to my session, you are not going to receive information. That is not fair to our other colleagues that I just happened to be slated during that time. So what I'm going to share later, it's going to be shared more broadly with the community. But I have been thinking a lot about what you all have shared with me over the last 8 months. What you have emailed me, what you have dropped in terms of notes and walks throughout the campus, and it is sitting with me in a way that I just feel very deeply. And I feel deeply because I know that we are a community of people who care. Even if we don't agree ideologically, even if we believe that the approach that I have is better than someone else's, regardless of that, I firmly believe that we care about students, that we care about contributing to our community. I think that the opportunity that we have is how do we begin with that in mind so that we can support one another. So today is about Professional Activities Development Day. It's okay for us to focus on us today. It's okay to recognize that we have our own learning and reflection and sharings to give. Because as we think about what it means to build community, rebuild community, redefine community, whatever, and take whatever language you want, it's really saying, where is my place here? Where is my voice here? And how can my story exist here? And we often put that emphasis so much that that's just what students want, but that's what we want as well, right? I firmly believe, and I've been very transparent from the beginning, that I firmly believe that we walk into these spaces with all of our lived experiences, and that's what makes us really powerful, and that's what makes us really brilliant, and makes us capable of serving students. And so, the last piece that I will leave you with is I believe that we have an opportunity this spring semester to reclaim and rebuild what sense of belonging looks like and what it feels like. And that's going to mean that we're going to have to get a little uncomfortable. That means that we're going to have to be able to take a moment and acknowledge that maybe my way of doing things, and I'm saying this for me as well, right? So I'm not excluding, that maybe my way of doing things is not necessarily the right way or the best way or the just way for what we're trying to accomplish together as a community. And so I welcome all of us to have those discussions, but I want us to really think about how we can do that in a way where we are professional and caring and collegial. And I believe that we can do that because I'll share this one little statistic here before I invite Dr. Osorio to join, is over the 36 sessions that I had for the SRJC Voices, there were 483 participants. 483 community members that came in, and so that's what I am filtering. That is what I am holding. That's what I'm sharing and what I'm holding myself and all of us accountable to. So thank you for being here. What a great program. I'm excited for what is going to happen today, and let's kind of let go of whatever happened this morning. As a matter of fact, take a moment, so this will allow Dr. Osorio to prepare. Take a moment, and maybe with the person next to you or behind you, one thing that you are looking forward to learning about today. That means then you need to engage, please. Find someone, one thing that you are interested in learning about today. Yes, George, I know you got it. All right, here we go. So what's one thing you're looking forward to?
Learning about languages.
Oh, okay, why?
Because I travel around the world and I've lived in different countries and I want to know exactly how language.
Okay, good morning, y'all. Look, George and I participated as well. So what's one thing that you're looking forward to learning today?
I'm looking to learn about the evolution of languages across the globe because I speak 6 different languages and I want to learn from the expert who teaches languages here.
6? Is there anyone that speaks 6 different languages in the room? I'm seeing a hand there. 6 languages, 5 languages. 6 languages, 5 languages. 4 languages. I feel like I'm at an auction. 3 languages. 2. Monolingual. That's okay. There's still room for us to grow. Thank you all so very much. Have a wonderful day, and I'm going to turn it over to George here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia. Thank you. All right. Well, I guess I should probably switch the microphones here. Hello? Okay, this one works. All right. Okay, good. Hello. Good morning, Santa Rosa Junior College. Today I have an easy job because I have to introduce the rock star of the day. And it is a tradition of the Tauzer lecture that the previous lecturer introduces the current lecturer. And so today, since I gave one last year, my role today is to introduce our fabulous 2024 Tauzer lecturer. Our lecturer for today, which who I think I've made some, I'm really disappointed that I've been here over a decade and I didn't take time to try to learn and to visit with our Tauzer lecturer, Dr. Araceli Osorio. And today, before she comes up to the stage to actually share with us, I'd like to tell a little bit about who she is and how she got here, how she became our esteemed colleague who is so humble. And let me share with you a few things that I found about our colleague, right? Of course, she was born in Mexico, studied at the university, that's stuff that, you know, maybe you may have found out on your own. But the one thing that I found that was impressive to me is that our colleague actually was a student here, and she got a lot of jobs on this campus, being an AA1, AA2, AA3, a student assistant, and all of those things, and then moved up the ranks and became a tenured faculty. That speaks to her courage, her persistence, her hard work, her determination, because she had a goal in mind to get somewhere. She had a goal in mind to be impactful. Some of you in this audience have been one of our students in some of our Spanish classes, right? So, but in order for us to actually know a little bit about why the committee decided to pick this esteemed person, we usually like to share some, you know, we're obligated sometimes to share those beautiful pictures, right? The one on your far left is that, you know, young Dr. Osorio thinking and looking into the future and thinking about the impact that she could make as an educator, right? And she wasn't going to stop. She was going to get through every obstacle, every red tape. She was going to pass through those and get to the end and become the person that is in the middle. But on the way to becoming your Tauzer lecturer today, she was a student here. Look at that beautiful SRJC ID card, right? So that's our colleague. And I learned a lot about our colleague. And let me share with you some of our accomplishments briefly before I tell you a lot about how she got here. Because I think it's important for us to understand that we have a lot of students today who are going through similar issues. And I was just humbled. And it actually caused me to rethink how I interact with our students. Because her story and how she got here, I maybe have a lot of students that are going through similar issues, but maybe I'm not paying attention to. And so I was challenged to reflect on my practice as an educator. So look at our colleague, right? She was in our own ESL program here at SRJC, right? A graduate of the business department here at SRJC. A graduate from CSU Sacramento, right? Maybe she stopped after this, you know, but no, knowing her, she wouldn't stop, right? She said, you know what? I'm going to stay here. I want to become part of this community. She became a citizen, and then she got that doctorate. At Santa Rosa JC, a lot of you have taken her classes. She's developed a lot of classes, and she realized that we didn't have books that actually supported our students. So she said, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to write my own books. So she wrote a few of those just to make sure she's able to support our students in our community. How cool is that? How cool is that? And you're going to learn a lot from her today. So relax, sit back, kick back, okay? Where did all this stuff start, right? I'm going to go through this real quick as a real teacher sometimes. I know, where is Sarah? Sarah is looking at me. Sarah, I'm going to make it 5 minutes. Don't worry. I'm working on it. There's a lot to say about our esteemed colleague to fit in 5 minutes. Trust me, right? So started in Mexico City. She was determined to challenge, gender stereotypes, gender roles, and she was passionate about education, and she was passionate about independence. So at a very young age, she was finding all sorts of jobs, whether I was working at a produce market, washing produce, working in retail, working at the airport, working on campus at the university where she studied. She did all of that to be very independent and support herself through education. Well, then she got a degree and decided that she got a degree and studied at the Japanese embassy to get her certification. She wanted to go to Japan and study international business. How did she end up in Santa Rosa? How? Well, they wanted her to learn English so she could go finish her course in Japan. So she hasn't made it to Japan yet. We're still here, okay? So then she came to Santa Rosa Junior College, our ESL program, to prepare her to go study for her master's in Japan. And that did not happen. And we are grateful it did not happen because she's been a blessing to our community. And here is the JC. Here's that beautiful ID card. A proud Santa Rosa Junior College graduate who arrived here and enrolled in our courses. I don't know if you can see her in those images right there. Anybody spot her? Okay, right there, right there. How about this one? Right there. Oh, I know you missed it. Yeah, that's her right there. So this was a community she was building here in our ESL program, and that kept her grounded and continued to study at the JC. And now she's looking into Santa Rosa. And she came here with $280 in her pocket, in her purse, in her bag, in her backpack, right? And she shared a two-bedroom apartment with 10 other roommates. Think about that, 10 roommates in a two-bedroom apartment. How are you going to focus on studying? How are you going to get your work done, right? And she did, right? And now let's talk about some of the things that she had to work through. Now, we have students, if you look at the screen, we have students who are going through exactly that today, where she has to work all day, be a maid, cook for people, to just be able to save some money to come to school in the evening. And she was in the ESL program and doing all that stuff. Talk about perseverance. Talk about somebody who's committed to that goal, right, to get this done. And our speaker today actually encouraged me a lot. And at one point, she still couldn't make it with all the stuff she was doing. She was sharing a room. She couldn't make it. So she was houseless and sleeping in her old Ford Granada, right? And we have students today who are going through that. And we have a colleague. So just think about who your colleagues will be 10, 20 years from now. They may be going through that today. So let's be mindful about that. And so once she was struggling, again, in her own, as she told me this, like just casually, I realized I needed some money to pay for school. So she took a break. She got on a detour, right? And went out and got her CNA license so she could make more money per hour to afford her own apartment, because she needed some stability in housing to be able to be here as a student. And she did that. And she was staying down the street at the Mendocino Manor Apartments. And that's where she was, in stable housing, to encourage her to finish her education at the JC. Are you following me? Are you seeing persistence? Are you feeling perseverance? Are you feeling somebody who's determined to get somewhere? And when I talk to her, every time we talk on the phone or on Zoom, and I'm thinking about, man, I'm just humbled by your persistence and by your commitment to success. And thank you so much for what you've done for us. And before I forget, I want to mention that while she was doing all of this, she had a family. And she had a daughter, a beautiful daughter, Lenny, who's here today. Lenny, can you raise your hand, please, so that we know that you're here? Wonderful. Okay. And her husband, Santiago, is also in the audience. Raise your hand, please, so we can see you. Thank you. Thank you. And she has a lot of family, friends here who are here to support her, and thank you also for coming. So here's a... Sorry, Lenny, I had to put this up there. We had to put this one just to keep the audience laughing about this, all right? And that's the family, right? And now that she's a faculty, she's still found hobbies that she enjoys a lot. And one of them is very funny. I'm gonna admit, one of them is very funny. I didn't believe that for a minute, right? She likes reading, writing, and all those things up there. But the one that actually got me was she enjoys watching boxing. And she goes to boxing matches. And that's her favorite boxer right there, okay? And in addition to all of these hobbies, she found one a little while ago, and she's been rescuing puppies and dogs, and she's rescued about 7 of those, okay, in the past years. So again, today I think we're up for a treat. If you haven't heard anything about somebody who persevered, somebody who loves the world, somebody who loves how we travel and navigate this complex and layered world, well, we got news for you. We got a treat for you. So Santa Rosa Junior College, please help me welcome our 2024 Tauzer lecturer, Dr. Araceli Osorio, to the stage.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Seller, for the nice introduction. And whoops, I'm a little bit dizzy with the lights. Okay. And it is a great honor for me to receive this award. And I would like to extend my sincerest thanks to the members of the Tauzer committee for giving me this opportunity. And I would like to thank my family, friends, and family for taking the time to be here, and my colleagues. And thank you to my friends Ofelia and Rocio, who are watching us on YouTube. Yes. And, ¿cómo están? ¿Sí? Bien. Bienvenidos y muchas gracias por estar aquí. Espero que disfruten la presentación. Y va a estar muy interesante, ¿ok? Y bueno, vamos a empezar. And during my presentation, I'm going to take you to a virtual tour. So here it is. What is it? There. No, let's go back. I'm going to take you to a virtual tour around the world. For me to show you how the Spanish language has been transformed over the years. And you're going to see that it's very interesting. And Spanish is the most spoken language in the world, the second most spoken language in the world. Just imagine that. In first place is Chinese, Mandarin, and in third place is English. And Spanish is the official language of 21 countries. And about 495 million are native speakers. And over 70 million, right here, are non-native speakers. That's a lot, right? That's a lot of people who speak Spanish. Therefore, it is natural that there are differences between the variants of Spanish used in each country. And the examples of the language variations that I will be discussing are from countries located in North America, Central America, South America, Europe, and the Caribbean. And when I started visiting some of these countries, I was fascinated to learn that some of the words that are commonly used in Mexico have a completely different meaning in other Spanish countries. For example, when my family and I went to Cuba, we went to a restaurant and I ordered a papaya juice. And the waiter giggled when I ordered it. Then later I found out that the word papaya in Cuba means vagina. And then I found out that the word papaya has other meanings in other countries. In Colombia, people love papaya. And whenever there is a plate of papaya, people eat it quickly. And they have the expression dar papaya, to give papaya. But it's mostly used in the negative form, to advise people to not give anyone a papaya. To not give anyone papaya. No de papaya in Spanish. No de papaya. And this means don't give anyone the opportunity to take advantage of you. And frequently, they recommend people not to leave anything in the cars or to keep an eye on their valuable things because they can be gone quickly, just like a papaya. And it's very interesting because they remind people of the expression by saying an 11th commandment that they have. Isn't that interesting? And they often say this, no de papaya, 11º mandamiento. El que da papaya, se la parten. and in English, you know, the translation is more like, no de papaya, 11th commandment, don't set yourself up for a fall. So remember, when you go to Colombia, don't give anyone papaya. And also another expression that I think is very interesting is in Peru, the expression está papaya, is papaya. Or sometimes they said, ¿qué papaya? What a papaya! And you imagine a big papaya or something like delicious, but the expression means that something is easy to do. It's like the expression in English, is a piece of cake. Or in Spanish, in Mexico, we have the expression, es pan comido, is eaten bread. And during my presentation, I will share with you more expressions with foods and other amazing language variations used in different contexts. And I will talk about Spanglish since it was one of the main topics in my dissertation, and how new words were created and how others changed over time, and the importance of music in the Spanish communities. And the conclusion. Okay, vamos a empezar con ejemplos of a word with different names in different countries. This is very interesting. The general term to say popcorn in Spanish is palomitas, and that means little dogs. And here are some interesting facts about popcorn. Some archaeologists recently discovered that the first evidence of popcorn was in Peru about 6,700 years ago. Can you believe that? And, I know, yes, and in 1931, during the Great Depression in the United States, Julia Braden got a permit to set up a stand to sell popcorn in the Linwood Theater in Kansas City. After that, eating popcorn during a movie became very popular around the world. And the United States is the #1 producer and consumer in the world. We eat a lot of popcorn. And the International Popcorn Day is January 19th. We do have an International Popcorn Day. And I will share with you only a few names from a few countries. And like in Mexico, popcorn are called palomitas, chivitas, crispetas. And in Dominican Republic, and Venezuela, popitas, cocalecas, rosetas, gallitos. And gallitos is more common in Venezuela. And in Argentina, the word pochoclos, I love this word, pochoclos, is the most common word to say popcorn, and it comes from Quechua, which is an indigenous language spoken in the country. And it means pop, it's tronar, that means boom, and choclos, maíz tierno or tender corn. And another Quechua word is ancua, and that means maíz tostado or roasted corn. And here is the article from last month where they published the International Popcorn Day, Día Mundial del Pochoclo, right here, Día Mundial del Pochoclo. Yes. And in Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay, another common word is pororo, and this comes from pororo, and that means explosion in Guarani, which is another spoken language in these three countries, and it's also an official language in Paraguay. And another Guarani word is pururu, that means crunch. And pipocas is a Portuguese word, and it's mostly used in Uruguay because they speak Portuñol, which is an Portuguese dialect. And in Spain, you're not going to believe this, but look, there are 17 different names that are used in different regions of the country. And if we add to this list the total of some of the words that are used in Latin America, look at all these names. It's a total of 40 different words. So who would have thought that the grain discovered in Peru about 6,700 years ago would have so many different names now, and that we would be the #1 consumers in the world. And for the example of a regional variation, I will show you a word that has different meanings in different regions of the same country. And this is called a polysemy. And in Colombia, the word perico has 4 different meanings. One is perico is a parakeet. These are parakeets. And then in Bogotá, perico is a tinto, café con leche, coffee with milk or a latte. And in Barranquilla, Colombia, perico is huevos revueltos con tomate y cebolla, scrambled eggs with onions and tomatoes. And then in Medellin, perico is cocaine, cocaína. So how do you learn the different meanings? By practicing them, by making mistakes, by making a fool of yourself, no? By traveling, or another person may share another meaning for the same word. And let me know if you know another word for perico. And now here are more examples with idiomatic expressions using likable and popular foods. What? For those of you who are not familiar with the words idiomatic expressions, they are informal phrases that have a completely different meaning from the meaning of the words in the expression. What? No. Here are some examples. Food is an important component for the Spanish-speaking communities because food represents their roots, culture, and identity. And these idiomatic expressions are unique and have a special meaning only in the country that are used. That is important for you to keep this in mind, okay? And then in the appropriate context and with the right emotion and flirty tone of voice. So let's see the first one. In Spain, the colloquial expression estar como queso is very popular. And the direct translation is to be like cheese. So if someone says to you, estás como queso, you are like a cheese. Don't get mad, okay? Because it is actually a nice compliment. Yes. They're telling you that you are a nice looking person. ¿Sí? Es algo bueno. Te comparan con un tesoro gastronómico y te dicen que estás de buen ver. ¿Sí? It's something good. They are comparing you with a gastronomic treasure and that you are a good-looking person. But now let's go to Mexico. They don't use the cheese. They use the mango to say that someone is a good-looking person, and the expression is estar como mango, to be like mango, because mangoes are considered the king of the tropical fruits. And they are a seasonal tropical fruit, and their peak season runs from May through September, but the best month to get them is June. And the expression became very popular with the song Estás como mango. released in 1953, interpreted by Cuban singer Rosendo Bienvenido Granda Aguilera, known as El Bigote que canta, the singing mustache. And I'm going to show you the lyrics first in Spanish and then in English. So here they are. Parado en la esquina, con la boca abierta, porque veo pasar un pollo que está como mango, como mango. Standing on the corner with my mouth open because I see a chick who is like mango, like mango. So now you're going to hear the lyrics.
Parado en la esquina, con la boca abierta. Parado en la esquina, con la boca abierta. Porque veo pasar un pollo que está como mango, como mango, como mango, como mango.
Yes. That's a nice song, right? But now let's go to Colombia. They use the chicken to say that someone is a nice-looking person. So if you see a nice-looking person, you ask another person the question, who ordered chicken? And now you're going to hear the expression by a native Colombian. Her name is Ashley. You're going to hear it in Spanish.
Uy, ¿quién pidió pollo?
And remember that these idiomatic expressions are unique and have special meaning only in the country that are used and in the appropriate context. Just imagine if you go to Mexico and all of a sudden you see a nice-looking person and ask someone, who ordered chicken? What? Está loca. Okay, and now let's go to Central America to see another example, an example of another language variation. And this is also very interesting. In Costa Rica, the word casado means married man. And in the plural form, casados is married men or married couples. And you see these words in the menus of some restaurants as part of the offering. Can you believe that? You can see here, look, casados, casados. But don't worry, if you order a casado, you're not going to get a married man for lunch, okay? Because casado is a combo plate that includes rice, beans, a salad, and a meat of your choice, and more salad if you want to, if you don't want meat, and dessert. And here is the story about the name. In the early 60s, when men, mostly married men, wanted to get a better job, they moved to San Jose, the capital of Costa Rica, and they were looking for homemade cooking, and they always demanded more food at the restaurants. So this plate was created to make them feel as if they were in their own home and to also feel satisfied. And all the different ingredients married together. We can tell who the bride is, right? It's the rice. And another interesting language variation in Costa Rica. When I went to Costa Rica with the study abroad program, I saw this sign everywhere. See? Maridos de alquiler, husbands for rent. They say, oh, that's interesting, right? But people in Costa Rica don't rent their husbands, okay? No. Maridos de alquiler refers to handyman. Can you believe that? And in Mexico, they are called persona de mantenimiento, maintenance person, and they form informal terms are ganapan and mil usos. And mil usos became very popular with the movie titled Mil Usos, 1,000 Uses, in 1981. And in Spain, they are called manitas. Little hands or cute hands. They love handymen. Yes. Oh, and now let's go to North America to talk about an innovative form of communication. In the United States, Spanglish or Español de los Estados Unidos is very popular. And as I mentioned before, it was one of the main topics in my dissertation. And it began with the Mexican-American War in 1848, and also with the constant migration. But what is Spanglish? Can some of you tell me? When you hear Spanglish, what do you think it is? Yes?
It's a combination of Spanish from Latin America with the context of English, like parquear. It's not parking, it's not estacionarse, but it's...
Excelente. Yes. Anybody else?
Cambiarse de one language to the other.
Oh, that's great. Yes. Yes, okay. And that is both of you said this, a mixture of English and Spanish. And the official term for that is code switching. But Spanglish is more than that. It's also the creation, as you mentioned one of the words, the creation of new words and verbs. And this is called hybrid words. And also the creation of new meanings to words that already exist in English or Spanish. And this is called borrowing. And the culture adaptation is also part of Spanglish. But here is another question. Why do you think people use it? Excellent, yes. Perfect, see? Más? More people, no? Yes, exactly, yes.
It's hard to keep up with both languages when you're like thinking on the fly. You can't substitute that word right away, so you just use whatever you know in that moment.
Excellent, too, yes.
Like in the case of my parents, they didn't know the proper Spanish, so they never knew the word in Spanish, so they combined English with Spanish to try to make it sound like Spanish.
Exactly. Well, look, some of you mentioned some of these topics here. Spanglish is a necessity, right? It's a habit, too. It's practical, it's common, and that's how Latinos or Spanish speakers identified from United States, right? And it's easier and faster to convey thoughts, as you were saying, because sometimes it's so hard to find the exact word you want to say in the language that you use Spanglish, right? And it's easier and faster to say, Laura, email me, than Laura, escríbeme un correo electrónico. It takes 15 to 25% more text to say something in Spanish. And in addition, Spanglish is used to bridge the communication gap created by the many Spanish language variations. And Spanglish is constantly used in daily conversations and in the media. And the movie Spanglish from 2004 is a good example.
No se meta con los hijos de las otras personas. You leave someone else's child alone. Creo que no es difícil de entender. Que no se da cuenta que los niños se confunden. It is too easy for papás le dicen una cosa, children feel contradiction. And it encourages questions from parents. And that makes them less safe.
Poor guy. And a recent example is from a baseball game.
Man, did he blast this one on its way. Adios, pelota! High up into the bleachers.
And in both examples, they use code switching. And in the movie Spanglish, the main theme is culture adaptation. And this one is also funny. In this UPS commercial, you're going to see another type of Spanglish.
Cariño, ¿ya sabes si quieres ese regalo?
Sí, un trompo.
Esto
trompo, trumpet.
Oh, yes. You know, the mother ordered the spinning toy, the trompo, but the boy wanted a trompeta. But since he didn't know how to say trompeta, it was easier and natural for him to say trompo, because trompo, trompo, trumpet, they sound very similar. See? And borrowing words from another language is a common practice when someone doesn't know or is not familiar with the appropriate word in Spanish or English. And it's also very common when people live in a multilingual culture. Okay, now let's go to the next one here. And I also included in my dissertation a new diagram to represent a multilingual culture of second-generation Latino students. And I represented Spanish with a red color, which is a primary color, and English with blue, which is also a primary color. And when these two colors merge, ta-da, they form the color purple, which is a secondary color, and I use it to represent Spanglish. I also stated in my dissertation that all languages, like all colors, whether primary or secondary, they are recognized as valid forms of communication, used in appropriate settings. And moreover, Spanglish has become a natural and common tool for Spanish speakers in everyday communication. And to illustrate this last point, I want to show you a video of George Lopez, and this is very funny.
You could vote English as the official language, but it'll never work, because we're always going to speak Spanglish. It's too late. That's all we've talked in our house for years.
¿Qué pasó, tía? I went to the store to buy those zapatos that I like, pero estaban gone. Los shoes amarillos, sí, estaban todos sold out.
So, as you can see, you know, Spanglish in any of its forms is unavoidable and is constantly adapted by its 63.7 Latinos living in the United States. And an example of this adaptation is the creation of new verbs due to the development of new technology. Look at these verbs. Googlear, googlear, see? Facebookear or Facebookear, WhatsAppear or WhatsAppear, bloguear, see? And the suffix E or ending, the suffix or the ending, EAR, is very common, especially with the creation of new verbs. And also this suffix has a lot of functions, and one of them is to facilitate pronunciation, and it indicates the action of. For example, googlear or googlear is the action of searching for information. See? And if you also notice, the ending of the words are in Spanish, but the beginning is in English, so these are called hybrid words. See? But the creation of new words or new meanings to words that already exist is not only happening in the United States. Spanglish has crossed frontiers. And I'm going to show you some examples of this creation. And in Dominican Republic, there it is, I'm going to show you how a new word was created. In the first United States invasion in Dominican Republic, one day the enslaved people were preparing mashed green plantains, eggs, cheese, and red pickled onions for breakfast. The sausages were not part of the original dish, okay? That was added many, many years later. And when the American soldiers tasted it, they said, "Man, good." And every time they have this for breakfast, they said, man, good. And that is how the el mangú, this traditional breakfast, was created. Man, good, good. But now let's go to Panama. I'm going to show you how a word, another meaning, was created for a word that already exists in Spanish. And this is also very interesting. During the construction of the Panama Canal in 1904, when people wanted to earn extra money or wanted a temporary job, they went to the canal, and the supervisor in charge used to say, come around, come around. If you notice, this word sounds very similar to the word camarón. So come around, see? And that's how a new meaning for the word camarón was created. Now, camarón means shrimp and also a temporary job, trabajo temporal. But now let's go to Venezuela to see how another meaning for the same word was created. When workers in the oil exploitation fields wanted to be excused to take their lunch, most of the time they took a nap, they always said, I come around. So again, I come around, camarón. You see, they sound very similar. I come around, camarón. And that's how another meaning for the word camarón was created. Now it means short nap. But there are other meanings for the word camarón. Look, in Ecuador, it means an experienced driver. In Colombia and Costa Rica, it's a tip. And then in Puerto Rico, it's something hard to do. That's interesting, right? And as you saw from all the examples, Spanglish is used as a universal, natural, and practical form of communication used in appropriate settings. And like any other language, it's constantly evolving. And here are some examples of this evolution. I will show you how a word, the original meaning of a word, changed over time from positive to negative and from negative to positive. The word villano. The definition in 1495. Villano es aquel que mora en una villa, one who lives in a villa. And the word villano became very popular with the movie Despicable Me, Mi Villano Favorito. And here are the new definitions, because there are two. Look, adjetivo, ruin, indigno, indecoroso, adjective, ruin, unworthy, or indecorous. A cruelly malicious person who is involved in or devoted to wickedness or crime, scoundrel. They are very different. And now the word formidable.
Formidable.
The definition in 1780. Adjetivo horroroso, pavoroso, y que infunde asombro y miedo. ¿Sí? Adjective horrific, dreadful, and inspires astonishment and fear. But now look at the new definition. I know, you look. Espectacular, majestuoso, grandioso, tiene cualidades muy positivas. Spectacular, majestic, or great, has very positive qualities. They are very different, right? But it is important to mention that some words change due to the invasion of the conquistadores. For example, in Mexico, before the Spanish conquistadores arrived in 1519, there were over 500 indigenous languages in Mexico. And with their arrival, almost 150 disappeared. So Mexico has always been a multilingual country. And to protect the indigenous languages still spoken in Mexico. In 2003, the General Law of Linguistic Rights of the Indigenous People declared 69 official languages in Mexico. And this includes Spanish. And the second most spoken language is Nahuatl. And last year I gave a presentation about it because it's a beautiful language. And here is an example of this change. The word way, see? Or way or buey, the definitions in Nahuatl is way is an ox, big, king, and another word for king is tlatoani, honorable, respected person. But now look at the definitions in Spanish. Amigo inseparable, and it's an informal way to say amigo. Adjetivo, persona tonta, individuo desconocido, persona incompetente. So they are very different, and the meaning depends on how you say it, when you say it, and also to the appropriate person too. Okay? And so far, I have talked to you about the different Spanish language variations, the Spanglish, and how new words were created and meanings. But what is the surprise element of commonality? Well, es la música, since it's considered a universal language. And Aristóteles said, la música expresa los movimientos del alma. ¿Sí? Music expresses the movements of the soul. And I had the opportunity to interview some of the Spanish speakers, students in the International Students Program. And I'm going to show you a couple of interviews. Here is one from a student from Bolivia.
Para las personas de Bolivia la música es muy importante porque es la forma en que todos conectamos y bailamos, y en cualquier evento siempre se va a bailar. Y música de todo, nuestra música nativa, el reggaetón, salsa, bachata, todo eso. Y es una forma de pasar un buen tiempo con la familia y amigos, entonces la música nos conecta a todos.
Nice, right? And I highlighted some of the main things that she said, like it's a way that we all connect, and it's a way of having a good time with family and friends. And here is the other interview, and it's from a student from Chile, Domingo.
Hay una cosa especial y muy particular de los chilenos, es que al baño se va con música. Si nos vamos a tomar una ducha, tenemos que llevar un parlante gigante al baño y poner una música de reggaetón. Bad Bunny, Ozuna, Maluma, lo que sea, pero reggaetón. Así que la música es importante en Chile. Un saludo, nos vemos.
So he said that you go to the bathroom with music, and that music is important. And some of the genres that the students mentioned in their interview are listed here because they are very popular in addition to mariachi. For example, salsa, cumbia, bachata, reggaetón, merengue, urbano latino, pop latino, regional mexicano. And I will focus on two of my favorite genres, salsa and bachata. And here are the definitions of salsa in Spanish first and then in English, okay? Un tipo de música latinoamericana, salsa picante o cosa que anima o alegra. And here are the definitions in English. It's a type of Latin American music, spicy tomato sauce, or something that cheers and makes you happy. And in the mid-1800s, the word salsa was shouted extensively by Latin musicians during their performances. And that's how the word and the music became very popular. And at the end of 1920s, the salsa dance became very popular in the United States. And salsa is a mixture of 3 genres. It's the Cuban son, the African rumba, and the danzón from Haiti and France. And to cheer you up a little, please welcome to the stage to perform a salsa dance, Jolene Johnson, Santa Rosa Junior College fitness instructor and annually dance director and instructor, and her students from the West County Dance Company. Please give them a big round of applause. Woo!
Todo el mundo se pregunta quién es Topanga o qué cosa es. Topanga.
That's great. Thank you very much. That was great, right? Okay, now let's talk about bachata. In the early 1920s, bachata began in the Dominican Republic and in the Caribbean as a fiesta del patio dance, where you gather with friends, family members, and neighbors to talk, eat, dance, drink, and have fun. And bachata is a combination of 2 African and Cuban rhythms, son and bolero, and bachata over time. In the early 1970s, the word bachata was referred as to bolero, or música de guitarra, and it was also known as música del guardia, soldiers' music, because soldiers often frequented places where bachata was played. And it was also associated with prostitution. And it is important to mention that this musical style was rejected by high-class society. And it was first used as an offensive word and implied that the music and the people were from a lower class, uneducated, and vulgar. Then, 10 years later, bachata made an important leap forward, reaching people of all social classes, and it became very popular in radio stations and in other media. And then, 4 years ago, in December of 2019, UNESCO declared bachata as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Declaró bachata como un patrimonio cultural de la humanidad. And once again, welcome back to the stage, Jolene Johnson and the students from the West County Dance. Woo!
days are over. You don't have to sell your body tonight. Roxanne, you don't have to wear that dress tonight. Walk the streets for money. You don't care if it's wrong or it's right. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne, you don't have to. I love you since I knew you. I wouldn't talk down to you. I have to tell you just how I feel. I will share you with another boy. I know my mind is made up, so put your warrior makeup. I told you once, I want to tell you again, it's the bad way. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne, you don't have to. Oh, oh. Sentimiento.
Thank you. Wow. That was amazing. Woo! Please give woo! Bravo! That's fantastic. Okay, and now welcome back to the stage, Jolene Johnson. Woo! Please come on, Jolene. She has a surprise for you.
Yeah. I was told that maybe we're all going to stand up and learn some steps of bachata. So I'm going to ask you to stand up, please. Great. We'll try to do it in the lines of your seat. Or if you have the privilege of being next to an aisle, then you can do that as well. Hi, Chris. I see some faces out there. Awesome. Okay, so as you've been learning, bachata originated in the Dominican, and it's a basic side-to-side four-step with an accent on the 4 and the 8. That special instrument, the guerra, as you've also been learning about the music, is what accents on the 4 and the 8. So it allows you to know when to bring your foot together. So if you were a lead, then you would always start on your left, and if you're a follow, you would always start on your right. But just for today's purposes, we'll just all go with our left. So here we go. With your left foot, we're going to step to the left first. 5, 6, 7, 8. We go 1, 2, 3, other way. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. For an extra challenge, you can add a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't worry though, you don't have to. 4, 5, 6, 7, freeze. Great. I know it's tight, but if you can, we'll try the basic turn as well.
Yes.
You're going to stay on the side-to-side plane, and you're going to turn over to your left 1. Keep just rotating 2. And keep that rotation 3.
Let me see it.
And then tap in 4. I know it's hard in your space. I give you a little hug. Okay, and then we go this way. That's Ellie's mom. Hi, Ellie's mom. Her daughter was on the dance team last year. Okay, then we're going to go this way. We go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So we do the basic and then 1 turn side to side, and then I think there's a song that we can play too, just so you can hear a different bachata song. So here we go, starting with your left foot. 6, 7, 8. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Try that turn. 1, 2, 3, tap. 1, 2, back to basic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And the music.
7, 8.
with the music. Now with the music, Tio? Yes. Come on, where is the music, Tio? There.
Me enamoraste a mí, me hiciste sonreír, sabiendo la situación, y que los dos tenemos nuestro amor, vivimos escondidos, escucha bien mi canción, ay, recházame. Es que no puedo aceptar tu amor. Ay, olvídame, aunque no suela hay que aceptar ese dolor. Es que yo tengo.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I can't be here today for the rest of this amazing PD because I'm also the dance director at Annalee High School, so we're going to go back to our other school. But I am an associate faculty here. I teach the Latin Styles class here at the SRJC on Tuesday, Thursdays from 6:30 to 8:30. So if you're ever feeling like this was just enough of a taste, you should come and take the class. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Woo. Thank you. That was very nice. Thank you. Well, you know, there are no boundaries to understanding music. It brings people together. And as one of the students said, you know, the student from Bolivia, music connects us all. See? And the love and appreciation for music is introduced at an early age. And the student from Chile said that music is an important part of their daily life, even when they go to the bathroom, because it represents the culture, traditions, and identity. And in conclusion, Santa Rosa Junior College is home of a diverse population of students, and now 41% are Spanish speakers. Therefore, it is important to promote awareness of the Spanish language variations that exist to understand the Spanish spoken by our students, to value, appreciate, and embrace these language differences that are unique in each region and country. And yes, even the cow is part of our diverse population. Thank you very much. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you very much.
Wait right there. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. People are still clapping, they're not sitting yet. Because I'm getting ready now. I hope you got some of your steps in for the day. What a wonderful talk to encourage us to understand those variations in language. And it was so touching. And hopefully you don't use the wrong word in the wrong place where you can get arrested, right? Also gives us the courage to begin to learn more about our students and understand the context for language. It is such a pleasure. I haven't spent a lot of time speaking with Dr. Osorio, and we're so blessed to be in your presence and for sharing your wisdom and knowledge about language variations and the love and how music connects us. On behalf of the Tauzer Committee and Santa Rosa Junior College Professional Development Committee, we would like to present you with this plaque of appreciation for being our outstanding 2024 Tauzer lecturer. Thank you, Dr. Araceli. I think we need to give her one more round of applause. Now it is my pleasure to bring back one of the people who works tirelessly behind the scenes to make this event a success, Miss Sarah Hopkins.
Good morning, SRJC. I am retiring from the district in June, so I'm looking forward to participating as an audience member rather than an organizer if I attend PDA in the future. On behalf of the Professional Development Committee, I would like to thank Dr. Araceli Osorio for a fabulous Tauzer lecture. Our college community is offering over 40 workshops today, mostly scheduled in the Lindley Center for STEM Education, so you all can check out the new center. Please enjoy the refreshments in the lobby of Lindley and join us for the complimentary lunch at 11:50 in the Bertolini Dining Commons. Hope you all have an amazing spring 2024 PDA Day. Thank you.